So like I was thinking of ways to like make money. I tried selling clothing, completely flopped. I tried like a bunch of other stuff, e-commerce, flopped. Number one is what's your passion, okay? And number two is what's your goal with your passion? But if you don't have a passion for making that type of content, you're not even gonna go viral. But once you blow up, that's when you make it. Like literally you just need one video to change your life. The best bullshitters are the best storytellers.
I'm really excited to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
And it's so crazy that you're so young too. What you've been able to do at such a young age. So I'm kind of curious, how did you get into doing viral content? Like how did you study marketing? Did you study content? Were you just like filming content in your like mom's room? Like, or did you go to college? Like what's your background? How'd you get into this?
Yeah, so pretty much how I got into this is funny. I never really studied marketing or anything. My mom does PR though. So like maybe that's why I have some marketing blood in me. But like it all started in high school. You know, I pretty much was just making content, especially during the pandemic, right? Like when there was COVID and all that.
So you were like a senior in high school?
Yeah, at the time, I was going to my senior year. Yeah. And like, I think it was just like this, I think COVID hit like when it was like late, like basically when junior year was ending. Yeah. So I think it was like maybe June or I got like May or something like that, right? And I was like a huge basketball player. Like my dream was to be a D1 basketball player. Like I was like, this is going to be my life. Like I know.
How tall are you?
I'm like only like 5'11". Like I'm not even that for like an Asian man though. Like normally I'm pretty tall. I feel like for like amongst like other Asians, but like in the basketball world, I'm like a midget, you know. Like, but basically like, so it's kind of started like that, right? And like when the pandemic hit, I still played basketball a lot, but like I kind of accepted like closer and closer towards when I was going to graduate high school that like, okay, this is probably not going to work out, you know. Like I gotta figure something out because my plan B was to actually go play basketball in Taiwan.
Oh really?
Yeah, because my dad lives there, and then like, you know.
He lives there right now?
He lives there right now, yeah.
Oh, really?
And I feel like because it's a smaller country, it's easier to get into like teams, especially if you have connections, right?
Yeah.
So that was my plan, you know. I was like all ready to go. And then it's funny, this basketball trainer I used to work with, he does like these motivational videos like in his stories, literally just being like, hey guys, hope you're doing well, happy Sunday, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is so dope, right? Like I kept actually watching over and over, and I'd feel good after, right? And during the pandemic, obviously, because I can go to the gym or go out really, I was like, what can I really do in the meantime to like, I don't want to just sit down and do nothing, right? I wasn't the type to play video games and all that much. So I was like, I got to do something productive. And when I saw that video, like I remember specifically one day I was just sitting in my room and I see this one video of his and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try this out. And it's kind of funny because I feel like growing up, like, you know, I've always been like a pretty confident kid, like pretty outgoing and extroverted. But the thing is, like, I feel like I always was overthinking a lot. Overthinking a lot. You know, I just did a lot on my mind. You know, I kind of wanted to like let it out, and on camera. So I one day just literally picked up my phone and just started yapping. Pretty much yapping, right? And
like motivational stuff, or
just like, hey guys, hope you're doing well. Like I know the times are tough right now, but hey, it's temporary only. You know, you gotta make the most of your time.
Did you start on Instagram or TikTok?
So it's funny. I started on Snapchat.
a
private story on Snapchat with my just like 5 of my friends.
Yeah.
And you know, like at the time they were like laughing. They're like, "This is funny, bro. Like you should keep doing this." I was like, "Yeah, I'll just do it. Why not?" Right. But it kept like word of mouth like got out, and like people just started like joining my private story from like my school. And so like at the end of the summer, I remember I had like 200 people on it, and like for me that was a lot. I was like, oh, that was like almost my whole grade.
Snapchat on a private,
Snapchat, on a private story, right? And I was like, dang, like this is pretty crazy. You know, some people thought it was a joke, right? So I kind of was thinking it was a joke also. Until when I went back to that fall senior year, there's these students that came up to me and they're like, dude, your motivational speeches actually like helped me have a better day.
That's super cool.
And I was like, wow. When I heard that, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize that. Like I wasn't no professional, nothing, right? Yeah. But when I heard that, it kind of made me like feel good. And also I was like, I got to keep going. So that's when one of my best friends gave me this idea. He was like, you should make a club at this school called the Mindset Club. And get this, it was actually the journey of me making this club that made this whole thing I have right now. So let me kind of explain. Basically what happened was there's this principal. Well, we had this like one, I don't know what position he was, but he was a guy like ran these clubs, right? Or like monitored all the club organizations. And to make a club, it was really easy. Like there was clubs like that were called like the Hummus Club, or like some BS like the Ski Club. I don't even know. Like
you can make any club.
You can make literally any club, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fine, right? So like I applied for mine, and I actually got rejected. And I was kind of like, why would I get rejected for something so positive, right? Like my goal was to like, you know, make a positive impact among my peers and all that. And so I remember like after I got rejected, it's so funny. I was sitting in the cafeteria in high school, like, you know, where I eat lunch. And I remember like I started hearing these chants of my name. And I'm like, what is going on, right?
It's like a High School Musical movie.
yeah, like everyone was like, yo, go up there and give a speech, right? And keep in mind, the cafeteria had like a couple hundred students at least. And I remember going up in the front, and I was so nervous. I didn't even know what to say. I just said something like super cliche, like never give up. And everyone was like, yeah, let's go. Like everyone was getting so pumped.
So everyone knew you for like as the mindset guy, as in a way.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you how I came up with that.
Yeah.
My name used to be Mindset of Justin Ho, or like Motivation with Justin Ho, or something like that, right? I called it Mojo. Motivation of Justin Ho. Yeah. But basically, like long story short, with the high school thing, I kept on applying, got rejected over and over. And then there was just one, pivotal moment where like I remember this girl, she had like this like disability or something, and like she asked me for advice on like how to like fit in with her friends and all that. And I just kind of said something really simple, but she got really emotional actually after that. And that's when I realized, like, because I was about to give up everything, I got to keep going for not just myself but for people that need this. And so last time I applied, I got in. I made this whole club, became like the #1 club in my high school. Wow. Like they even like I guess you could say the popular basketball kids or whatever. Everybody, like there was this one basketball player actually. He's at Gonzaga University now playing basketball, professional D1 basketball. He even came. Everyone was so shocked because he never comes, right? But I was like, wow, this is crazy. So when I graduated, I still had this gig going and everything. And then pretty much when I went to college, right, that's when I started to try out TikTok. And actually I still did on Snapchat stories because now they added on Snapchat a feature where your story, you can put it to your college campus, like the people there.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so when I was a freshman in college, my name was still Mindset of Justin Ho, keep in mind. People kept, because nobody knew my name, right? People were like, you're that mindset guy. You're the mindset guy. And I was like, thanks, man. But then I realized, I was like, that's kind of catchy, actually.
Yeah.
So I changed my name to the mindset guy. And ever since then, I kept pushing out content. And, one viral video led to another. And here I am.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then at what point did you know that you can help other business owners go viral? Like when was that?
So Joe Shelby, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like basically I remember, and Daniel Walton, actually, I thank him to this day. Like he's the one that introduced me.
How did you guys meet, you and Daniel?
So I joined, so I remember it was it was freshman year of college still. I was making so many viral videos, like racking up hundreds of millions of views. And I was like, this is fun, right? But I was making.
Were you monetizing off of it at the time?
No.
Okay.
I didn't monetize off anything. Like I think I made like $10,000 like in a whole year, and that's horrible, right?
Yeah,
like, that's worse than that's not even minimum wage. So like, I was like, dang,
But you're in college.
I'm in college, yeah. I was like, I want to make my own money.
Yeah.
I don't want to like just get allowance from my parents. Like I don't want to do that. So like I was thinking of ways to like make money, and I tried selling clothing, completely flopped. I tried like a bunch of other stuff, e-commerce, flopped, everything. And I remember like it was towards the end of freshman year of college that I find out about SMMA. Right, social media marketing
through Ty Lopez or who?
No, you know Joel Kaplan.
Yeah. Okay.
Joel. Yeah. I hated that program. I joined it, but
he went really viral at one point, right? Because he basically said something like, "I'm giving
everything for free
or something like that."
100%. Yeah. So I remember I had a friend, old business partner named Connor Trong. He's the one that told me to join, and I joined. But I thought it was like pretty shitty, the program. I didn't like it. But inside the program, I met Daniel. Daniel was in Newport Beach, and I was like, dude, that's literally super close to me. Well, not super close, but it's not far. Right. So I ended up like going to Newport Beach, networked with Daniel, and I remember not even my freshman year, but it was my sophomore year, I think towards December, that Daniel was like, hey man, like because I tried influencer marketing, completely flopped. Like I got a couple clients, but I did such a bad job of fulfillment. I just completely shut that business down. And I remember Daniel was like, dude, like you got to meet this guy named Joe. And I was like, at that point, I was like broke. I was like, I don't really care who this guy is, right? He was like, no, trust me, bro. Like, you should just come and meet him. I was like, fine. So I drove to Irvine, I went to his office. And when I met Joe, I was just like, he was like, how did you go viral, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, you just this and that. And he was like, why don't you do that for me? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I'll pay you to help me. And I was like, okay. And he's like, how much do you charge? And at the time, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, $3,000 a month. He was like, done.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, like that's more money than I ever made in my entire social media, right?
Yeah.
So like I started with him. I took him from like 5,000 to 1 million followers in 6 months.
In 6 months?
In 6 months.
And did you just copy and paste your strategy, or did you have to figure out something different that
so
worked?
Whenever I take a client on, like I kind of try to make their own signature style. But at the end of the day, like it's just kind of replicating like what works already and like making your own twist out of it. And so when I did it for Joe so well, like I remember I got so many referrals. And I started the second Instagram page. I grew to like 30,000, 33,000 followers. And that's where all my leads came from. And that's when I realized after I helped Joe.
What's that second Instagram page?
It's called The Viral Genius. Yeah, that's where I just talk strictly about how to go viral, how to build a personal brand. And pretty much after I helped Joe, that's when I realized I was like, this is gonna be my job. And I just completely segued away from making entertainment content to just doing this now pretty much full time.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
that's
huge.
awesome.
That's awesome.
So, and here I am.
So then what happened after that? Were you just like hit with tons of referrals? And like, how did you start monetizing off of this?
Yeah, so pretty much I just got a bunch of referrals. A lot of it I feel like was just, you know, I just learned through experience. So like you guys, right? Like you just kind of go through the ropes and figure it out. But I think I really started monetizing after like I started posting a lot of content on that second page, and like it was just lead after lead. And I just, you know, more clients, more coaching clients, whatever the case was. That's when I really monetized. I made like a pretty decent amount of money to the point where even my creator friends, because, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard this saying, but like there's this thing called broke influencer syndrome, and it's actually real. Like I actually was that, and not only that, a lot of my friends are that right now, and they were all like, "What are you doing? Like how do you do that?" One of my friends even tried to copy me. And like basically do what I'm doing. He actually stole Joe from me.
No.
Like recently?
Like this was like a couple months ago. I was so disappointed. Like I honestly, like I had so many clients at that point, I didn't really give a damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like the principle.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're gonna go behind my back after I try to teach you this? Like I'm like, that's crazy.
Wow.
And you actually taught him, and then he took one of your clients.
I kind of gave him like a free game, and he just took him.
And then
I was like, damn.
but also your client, he like did. How did that go? I'm curious. Like, are you still cool with him, or is
Joe
it kind of weird? Yeah, Joe.
Or the friend. Oh, Joe.
Both.
Oh, both. So I'm cool with Joe. Yeah, Joe's really cool with me. Actually, I think he has an event today, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But anyways, I'm cool with Joe. I'm still fine with the other friend because, you know, I don't want to ever burn a bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do I like him really? Not really. Am I hanging out with him? Hell no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I see him, like, yeah, what's up, man? You know. And then Joe, same thing. What's up? But like, I don't really like go out of the way to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Especially after that, like he goes.
That's
he's like
that's
he's
a
kind of a snake.
backstab
Yeah,
move.
he did it multiple times. Yeah.
Oh no, that's a red flag. And one thing we've learned, and you know, we've grown a lot in our faith too as well. It literally says it in the Bible, like a good name and a good reputation is worth more than the money.
Oh, 100%.
So like he backstabbed you for money, but like a good reputation is worth so much more.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So it's cool that you have. I feel like you have an exact like formula. So if someone's watching and they're like, "Man, I want to go viral," because we've never gone viral. So my goal is to go viral.
I think a lot of people think it's like luck, but do you have like what's your systematic way that you like think about things?
Okay, so so kind of like what I was saying like before, it's like you have to first understand. Well, there's two things, right? Whenever like let's say like you're my client, right, and I'm onboarding you. There's two questions I always ask. Okay, number one is what's your passion? Okay, and number two is what's your goal with your passion? Okay. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that I've consulted and coached in the past that they're like, I just want to do what makes me money. And I'm like, that's great. But if you don't have a passion for making that type of content, you're not even going to go viral. You're not going to actually get a lot of leads from it. Because all of my clients that had fun with making their content while also generating their own leads all had a passion for what they did. Like Joe genuinely liked going out and doing like his interviews and all that, right? I had this one lawyer client, great guy. Unfortunately, he didn't get any traction because he took it as a job. And I was like, dude, you can't think that. So like when you think that way, your tonality, the way you're speaking on camera, the way you're expressing yourself completely changes. And not only that, your audience can tell if you're being genuine or not. Like I get viewers, you know, they just mindlessly scroll, but they're not stupid. I mean, we're not stupid, right? Like we know if someone's like bullshitting us or not, right? So like you have to really understand like, okay, like am I going to just do this? Like am I okay with not getting any result for the next 6 months and just pumping out content because I like it, right? And if you can't do that, then I don't think personal branding is for you. You know, like you really gotta beat like 𝗵𝗠𝗏𝗏, Alex Hormozi, like these people. I know Alex Hormozi, he took like 7 years until he really blew up, right? But once you blow up, that's when you make it. Like literally, you just need one video to change your life. It's a true thing. One video will change your life if you make it right.
It's kind of like in the marketing world where like it just takes one funnel.
It takes one funnel, one ad.
Well, that's Russell Brunson's whole thing, like one funnel.
Yeah.
Like, you only need one funnel.
You only need one funnel and you make it. Boom.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally, but that takes so much effort and also commitment and willingness to actually put that time and effort into what you want to do.
So do most people will do like Joe's style of video, but for like restaurants, I think you do like a different style,
so
right?
I guess it'll be so like for someone like us, right? I know a lot of your content that goes viral is like the interviews. So we have a marketing agency, and I don't know if that's like completely on brand. Like how would we, if we were your clients, like how would you help us go viral?
Okay, so pretty much instead of going viral for you guys, I'd help you guys focus on lead generation. Okay, so like I have a handful of clients obviously that just want to go viral, and I'm like, okay, whatever, right? Like
we'll do some scares.
We'll do some like entertainment content because at the end of the day, like entertainment content is always gonna go more viral than value based. Like that's just a reality.
That's something we struggle with because I think we do a lot of like value, but it's kind
I
of
don't
boring.
even think it's like. I think we need to do more value.
Okay, so I'll tell you how to. I'll tell you how to go viral.
Maybe we could audit
Wait,
our
he's gonna
page.
tell us
I was like,
secret
be
sauce.
quiet. No, I got you. So, whenever it comes to value content, there's 3 types of ways I categorize it. Okay, and this will work 100% of the time. Number 1 is your top of the funnel, your medium of the funnel, and your bottom. Okay, your top of the funnel has to be about either a story that was interesting that you did something maybe that day or whatever, a transformation of your life, or it could be anything else that's more on a broader business topic. Okay, so for example, with you guys, right? Like you guys run like ads, right? You have a marketing agency, so like I would make your top of the funnel content more about like, okay, breaking down like how famous person made X amount of dollars with his marketing strategy, or like top marketing strategies that you're missing out on in 2025 that you need to do today, right? More broad, because we need to just get this new audience of marketing people, or just not even marketing people, business owners that are doing similar or needing this type of service, right? Or want to know marketing advice. Once you bring in this new audience, then you use them, you hit them with the medium of the funnel content. So the medium of the funnel is more like, okay, how much should you be spending on ads a day? You know, what's a good ad creative? How do you structure your ads correctly to get more leads? This is going to then take these new people that came in from your top of the funnel to then being nurtured as a potential customer client of yours. And the way you divide these 2 types of content throughout the week is, if you're brand new starting out, I would do like 4 viral and then like the rest, like 1 or 2 value. But when you start picking up traction, you immediately switch it. So like it's 4 value, 2 viral, right? Sometimes also when you make content on the internet, people don't understand this, is like a lot of times I tell people, if you want to get leads, you got to target their pain points, desires. I mean, you guys know, right? Like you got to be good with targeting, right? One thing that people don't realize though is they don't take into account the habits and lifestyle that their ideal customer profile lives. So like, for example, maybe like if I'm targeting affluent business or wealthy business owners, right? Like some habits of wealthy business owners might be to play golf, you know. I could even make a story about playing golf and then somehow transition it to, you know, building a personal brand, or like even for your marketing agency, right? So like I could always start like a hook. I can be like, the TikTok's ban is probably going to be the best. The banning of TikTok is probably going to be the best thing that's ever happened to any businesses or any business owners. Like, let me explain why. And I can kind of be like, everyone is going to, you know, transition from TikTok to Instagram, and because of this, you know, also Mark Zuckerberg is pushing out smaller accounts, right? And you kind of just like tell the story. Like that's not the best example, to be honest, but like even like this one video I saw, like the hook started out with like, I'm never giving a dime to my kids when I have them. I might sound crazy, but hear me out.
Yeah.
Right. Like instead of giving them a weekly allowance, I'm gonna put my money into this whatever business. This business is going to generate me X amount of dollars passively. Then this business is going to pay for all of our expenses and pay for my kids. You know, work smarter, don't work harder, right? Like know what you're investing in.
So those are examples of top of funnels.
Top of the funnel. And
Gotcha.
like some like rich people might not, or some depends what type of rich people, right? Some rich people might not want to even give an allowance to their kids, right? Like they're very cheap maybe or something like that, right? It could resonate with that type of audience. You just got to understand, like you can make a video go from top of the funnel to medium, right? Or you can go from just straight medium to bottom, like which is basically like really honing down on what you offer, your service and all that stuff.
And how important is the hooks? Like how much time do you spend on thinking about like a good hook for a video?
I would say the hook is really important. What people don't realize though is a hook isn't just good enough. You have to take into account nowadays, especially the visual hook and the audio hook. If you don't have, say I have a killer hook, right? But my visual is like, it's dark. I have a white background that looks shitty and it's just like, it doesn't look nice. Yeah. That video is probably not going to do well. Yeah. Right. Sometimes people like I have the most basic hook, but they'll do something so eye-catching that it makes it seem like a way better hook, if that makes sense.
So then that would be more of your top of funnel. So for us, I feel like the videos you film, they're very catchy.
We have with us is I'm starting to post. Well, you know all those little B-roll clips. I tried that out for a little while. I hate them now. The little with the text. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's just B-roll clips with like a trendy audio.
Right.
Like I feel like those
'Cause
are fillers.
that doesn't fit in any of.
Like I actually am over those, but I'm trying to post more valuable content. I posted one. Maybe you can audit it right now.
Oh yeah.
You already told me. You already told me a
That's
few
shitty.
bad stuff about it. But you know what? A quick little testimonial actually that when we saw you at that last event. I think it was like a little holiday event, right? That we went to. You told me, you're like, hey, I saw some of your content. It's terrible. But you didn't say like that. You said it in a nice way. But you're like, hey, I saw some of your content. But you're like, you said you should try storytelling. And I was like, storytelling. And at that time, I recently started reading a book called Story Brand by Donald Miller. So I was like learning more about storytelling, and you told me that, and I was like, huh, okay. And then you showed me your example. So I tried that out. It's actually that second post right there. And that literally second one, the top.
This one. Yeah.
And I tried it out, and that one performed like probably the best out of like all the other posts I've been posting.
He got so excited, he even made like a storytelling GPT.
No way.
I sent it to you, remember?
Yeah.
So I basically created a GPT to create like stories like this. And that it worked really well. So that was a really, really cool tip that you gave, and it worked really well.
Yeah. I think when it comes to storytelling, the key to storytelling is actually, this is something I learned from a mentor of mine. The best bullshitters are the best storytellers. So as long as you can keep bullshitting, and as long as you don't show you messed up, no one will ever question you. There have been so many times, because I used to do a lot of public speaking. There have been so many times I messed up, like sometimes even on podcast interviews, and nobody tells I messed up because I just like make some random shit up. And like that's how you know they're such a good storyteller, though, is because they're able to make a captivating story out of anything in life.
These stories are really important.
Yeah.
That's
important.
one thing I learned recently, like how important stories are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right.
Yeah. And like with content, specifically content, like storytelling has to be super simple. The more complicated, like people, like all these entrepreneurs, I hear them like they want to sound like fancy, like complicated, articulate, all that stuff. I get it, right? Maybe you look great in like a real life setting, but on content, like some people can't understand it. You got to just make it like super simple. Like, this is how you like run ads. Number one, number two, like clear structure. You don't have to say like, okay guys, so today we're going to be doing ads. You got to know like the XYZ strategy that you got to see. Like it's too much, like just here's how to make it winning creative that's going to make you X amount of money.
So when you first start working with the client, what are the first things you do? Like, do you like find their pillars, or how do you go about like transforming someone's account?
So what I'll kind of like my onboarding, I guess, right? Okay, so like what I typically do is first we'll kind of identify, we have like this brand, I have somebody make a brand kit for the client.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it goes
good.
into
Yeah.
what
that's super important too.
Super important, right? Because sometimes like, and I learned from experience, like sometimes like even I think that like this client should be like have this type of style, they disagree, right? And so I make sure to like make sure that it aligns with them, right? So I have their brand colors, even their editing style, their messaging, who they're targeting, all this stuff, right? Once they approve that, then pretty much what I'll go ahead and do is I come up with about 5 to 6 video ideas a week, right? Couple value, couple viral, right? And based off what they say, I can always tweak it a little bit, but pretty much from there, like how I make the ideas is there's 2 types of ways, okay? Number one, I call it the twist method, and the other one I call is just the natural idea, okay? 9 out of 10 times you're going to use a twist method. The reason why I say this is because a lot of people struggle with creativity. Creativity is something that I feel like is just naturally given to you. I mean, maybe I don't know if you can really learn it, right? It just kind of comes from experience. I've always been a creative thinker, so I'm always coming with really original ideas. But 9 out of 10 times, the reason why you should use the twist method is because you can simply just go to Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, right? See your competition, look at the most viral videos, and then don't just copy it, because everybody does that and it's not going to work. You have to make a twist out of the video, whether that's the hook visually, whether that's through the audio, whether that's through the messaging. Maybe you switch out a couple words. Maybe you switch out like the entire background, the objects that they're using, right? I've taken somebody's video exactly almost word for word ones, but I just simply changed the tonality of what I was saying, the editing style, and then just like where I was, and it got like a couple 100,000 views. It's that simple, because to the algorithm though, if you literally do the exact same thing as somebody else, they're gonna see that. And not only that, what most business owners go wrong with is they're like, I copied this person. Why am I not going viral? And I'm like, let me see the account you copied from. They got like a couple 100,000 followers. And I'm like, how many followers do you got? And they're like, 1,000. I'm like, well, there you go. Like, I can't compare myself and be like, why am I not getting 100 million views like Mr. Beast? Because I don't even have near his 300 million subscribers like he has.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the twist method, right? The other way, the natural idea, is basically 1 out of 10 times, you will naturally come up with something unique. The best ideas come when you're not even thinking about it, right? Like, there's sometimes I'm about to go to sleep, I'm showering, whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea.
Yeah. Or at the gym.
Or like I'm doing like the dumbest things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. Literally. And I just jot it down immediately, though, right? And then that's where that's like the most viral idea you could possibly think of, right? But 9 out of 10 times, the twist method worked great. I mean, it's worked for a lot of people that have helped. It's awesome. Just like the natural idea. That's not like that's 1 out of 10 times because it's hard to think of like a really good idea when you just think about it. It just comes up naturally, to be honest.
Yeah. And what are some of like your biggest challenges that you encountered as you started? Because you scaled really fast, right? Like in a year.
And you're so young. You're only 21 years old.
Like, what are some of those biggest things? Was it like the people, like what were some of the challenges that you faced?
Oh, I think like just my first year in business, like one of the key things I struggled with, at least in the beginning, was definitely like the systems. Because like I think I scaled so fast that I was like, okay, wait, hold on. I got to know how to manage these people. And then like sometimes, you know, especially we deliver videos to the clients, like they'd be late, you know, they wouldn't, some of them would get lost, right? Some of them, we wouldn't even have like organized filming dates. So we get completely confused with that schedule, right? And then therefore kind of sometimes be angry clients, right? But obviously like at the end of the day, like people care about the result the most in my opinion. And like my results were wonderful. So the clients weren't really like too concerned with that. But sometimes you'll have clients, like there's this one client I got 50,000 followers for, and he like complained the hell. And he was saying, we didn't go viral. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because he started with 2,000 followers, right?
Wow.
And I was kind of confused. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but there's going to be people like that, right? I feel like when you have a cheaper service also, like kind of sometimes people almost devalue that and think like, oh, like, you know, they expect every little thing out of it. But if you charge more, then like, that's when I realized, okay, people will take it more seriously. They'll actually respect it more. And, you know, that's why from just for a first year of business, I learned that like, the two struggles I struggled with was like maybe the clients, like who I take on as a client. Like I'm not about getting the sale necessarily all the time. I'm more so really concerned about who am I working with and are they going to be a good client? Because when they're a good client, when they do everything, not only will I help them make more money, but I'll make money at the same time.
Who's like your ideal client now? Like if someone's watching, you know,
and they're like, I want to go viral. I want to have followers. I want to get more leads organically.
Right. I would say my ideal client right now is any business owner or brand owner that's selling, you know, a product, a service, any type of coaching program. And, you know, they don't have time to even post their content, right? Like they absolutely do not have the time. And if they do have the time, they don't have the right strategy in place to actually go about and execute properly. A lot of times people can start posting content, but when they start losing views, they get demotivated and then they stop.
I've actually been losing followers every month.
Really?
It hurts so bad. I'm
geez.
I'm doing like 4 posts a day. You know, it's like I'm losing followers.
Oh yeah. So another thing is you don't want to do too many posts a day also. I just do once a day. That's good enough.
Really?
Okay. Quality over quantity.
100%. People say that like more posts a day is better. That's bullshit.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'm posting 3 to 4 times a day right now, and the followers don't really change much. And then, so what I want to do now is focus on quality over quality over quantity, and just make a really good post, like one really good post a day, instead of trying to like.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought up that example. You took someone because someone can be like, oh, well, he's like helping these like people scale, but they already had a lot of followers. But to grow someone from 2K to 50K is insane. I have like 2K right now. So if you were to tell me, hey, I'll give you 50K, I'd be super happy. So how long did that take?
For that guy, I got 50,000.
Yeah.
I think 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people like. A lot of business.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
Because that's hard to do. It's not like you're buying followers. Like
no, I think the best one I ever got was 0 to 700,000.
0
in 3 months. Yeah,
like no profile picture. Zero.
We made their brand new account. They had 200,000 followers. 90% was bots. I was like, let me make a new one and I'll grow it. Yeah. And literally the first month, I think they had 100,000.
Wow.
And it just kept scaling from there. Like,
do you ever boost like their posts?
No, never once have I ever ran an ad for anyone.
No.
Wow.
It's all organic. Yeah. And a lot of people, like a lot of businesses I talk to also, like they're like, oh, like, you know, we don't want followers, I want more leads. I get it. I think it's fine. That's such a valid statement. I honestly want more leads for my own business.
Yeah.
But the benefit of also having more followers is it gets you opportunities that you would have never been able to buy. Like, for example, there's just some people that I get to collab with, like Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank, you know, 𝗖cie když{/}𝗲𝗰𝘁 from Australia Shark Tank. Like, these people don't really care. Like, it's not like I have to pay them and they would even do it. It's more like they see the value. Like, the more followers you have, the more value they perceive you as, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like your business card, you know, your Instagram. So like that's why I don't even have a website really. Like, I'm just like, oh, I don't have a website, but here's my Instagram.
Especially for what you do. I mean, the best business card you can be is, hey, look at
So
my
what are
Instagram.
some of those stories that, like, you know, your brand was able to get you in certain rooms or certain connections? Like, what are some of those that you can like share?
Oh, like sometimes like stories of me going to like stuff like who I met or
Yeah, like what has like, because you have 1 million followers, you're able to just send a DM and like they usually like an
You're like,
influencer
it
will
helps with
respond,
business
right?
and it helps with the girls.
So like,
oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, it helps with the girls and it helps with definitely getting connections for sure.
like the 𝗖cie or Barbara, did you
awesome.
just send them a DM?
Yeah.
Or-
So what I do for how I get into their DMs is because I bet if I just say like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, that's bullshit. Like, they're not gonna read that, right?
Yeah.
Even if I had 1 million followers, sure, they might read it still. But my pitch is usually, or like the way I'd slide in is, for obviously for girls it's different, but like for business owners, I usually just say, here's my pitch, ... And the first line is all they see in the request. So they're going to be like curious, right?
Yeah.
And I keep it super simple. I'm like, hey, love your content. I want to do a video with you. Let me know if you want to hear more details. Here's a reference. Boom.
Wow.
And it works usually.
Yeah.
That's what I did with 𝗖cie. I did with Barbara. I've done with a lot of different entrepreneurs.
And
yeah.
one thing we've learned from you too is you shoot your shot. Like when we
Yeah.
started working with 𝗖𝗄 Patel, I actually at the time we weren't working with him yet. Ralph just had lunch, and you were like, "Hey, can you connect me with him?"
Oh,
and
yeah.
so then it was in the back of our head. And I remember the first day we officially started working with 𝗖𝗄 Patel, Ralph's like, "Oh, I can connect Justin." And so then, like, because you requested it, and it's kind of like even the way the law of attraction in the universe works, because you requested it, like, a lot of people are not open to, like, asking people, like, can you connect me with this
They're, like,
person?
too
Or
shy,
they're
or
too
they don't wanna get
shy or
turned
too
down or
afraid.
something.
So, like, now we're going to, like, we have lunch with 𝗖𝗄 Patel. We're going to be like, hey, do you want to
Which
collab
is
with
so
our
funny
friend?
because I remember I told you at that time, I was like, we're not that cool yet, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it came to be.
Yeah, I mean, you got to shoot your shot. Like, I feel like if you don't shoot your shot, like I think a lot of people, like, they always think, like, oh, like, you know, maybe, well, I guess, like, in, like, the DM strategy, like, they might think, oh, I don't have many followers, like, you know, it might not work, but, like, you just never know. Like, you never know. Like, obviously, more followers will help, but I would just say, like, go for it. I mean, like, if they don't like me, like, it's almost, I think of it as, like, it's a privilege to, like, work with me, you know? Like, not even trying to sound egotistical or anything, right? But, like, the what I'm trying to say is, like, you just never know. Like, you should just fuck it. Like, just DM them or talk to them. Like, what do you have to lose? Nothing.
Yeah.
You
Right,
miss every opportunity you don't take.
Yeah, I feel like one of my strengths is networking, and like when I go up to someone, like I don't give a damn who they are.
Dude,
like,
even at the event where I saw you, I think you asked for someone's number, or like I think it was Charlie or something like that. You're like, oh, can I get your number and this and that? I'm like, man, this guy's good.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't even ask. I'm just like, let me get your number, bro. We gotta connect sometime.
Yeah.
Like I said, so like,
Casual.
assertive. Like nobody even questions me.
Yeah.
And like it's just kind of like I first like spark up a conversation, you know, make it like it's almost like warming up a lead, right? And then I'm like, oh yeah, bro, dude, like you're out here in 𝗖𝗄, bro. We gotta hang out sometime. Let me get your number.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta take some tips from
That's
you.
good. That's a good
Yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
What's like one social media trend that you think people are sleeping on right now? That's like, especially with the whole TikTok ban going on, stuff like that. Like, what's a trend?
Or what's something that you started doing you feel like is working really well right now?
Well, I think like as far as strategy, I mean, I feel like that kind of depends, right? One thing I will say, like I guess like from when we're filming this right now, like because TikTok's about to get banned in like a couple of days.
Do you think it's actually gonna get banned?
To be honest, I don't know. Some people are talking about buying it.
Oh, Mr. Beast, I saw.
Yeah, I saw that.
So if it does, like, well, okay. The reason why I say if it does, it's gonna be your greatest advantage is because that means the billion of users that are on TikTok are gonna go to Instagram, and Instagram. The reason why I like it the most and you should focus on it the most is because almost like your followers on Instagram are more credible for sure than TikTok, right? 2, it's easy to get qualified leads on Instagram.
Yeah.
And 3, nowadays you don't be like, hey, let me get your TikTok, let me get your YouTube. No, what's your Instagram?
Yeah, that's true.
Your
That's all you
Instagram
ask.
is
I've
like
never
your
said,
business.
let me get your TikTok.
I don't think I've
Let me
ever
get your
said that.
Snapchat.
Yeah,
Only for the girls.
Only for the yeah. No, girls, I just be like, give me the number. Yeah. Like or Instagram, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Instagram.
literally, like that's all people look at, right? And so it's like almost like your followers are a currency, right? On Instagram at least. And like obviously like, you know, I would say YouTube subscribers with long form content is way more valuable. But that's why I'm not worried about the TikTok ban, because like any business owner that wants to scale a personal brand or get more leads, 100% go to Instagram. Especially Mark Zuckerberg even made a reel saying they're pushing out smaller creators now.
YouTube's doing that too.
Yeah, they're now gonna, because they realized, because TikTok was so easy to go viral. Like now on Instagram and YouTube, I guess YouTube, like they're gonna push out the smaller creators because they want them to feel more incentivized to actually start posting.
Quick question: we schedule our content on Buffer. Does that like ruin, you know, that with the algorithm
like
scheduling it from a third party? Like,
yeah, so I don't think it does. I've heard people say like it does. I think that's bullshit. You know what? The only reason why it affects the performance, well, not sorry that, but what affects your performance is the content. I've heard so many people be like, "Oh, your posting time matters," and I'm like, "Okay, so if I post a video of a black screen, is it gonna go viral even if I post it at the right time?" No, because it comes down to the content, the messaging. Yeah, I post videos at 1 a.m. and it does fine. Yeah. I don't really care about the time. I care only about who am I targeting, what's my story about, and what's the piece of content. A lot of people have this thought process always that, oh, I need to get more views, right? My process of how I go about content and progressing is I care about my evolution of how I make it better quality each time. The more high quality you make your content over time, the more loyal your followers become. Your followers don't care about how many views you get. They don't ever really look at that probably. They only look at, is this guy's content getting better and better? Mr. B started out with the shittiest videos, and look how great of a production they do now. Yeah. They appreciate that.
Even Iman too.
100%.
Dude, his production is really good.
How you make your content is how your followers are going to perceive you. If you make, it's kind of like if you set up an ad campaign, it's a shitty like ad or whatever. Well, your client's going to be pissed, right? But if you consistently make it better and better and scale with that ad, they're going to appreciate that. They're going to love you. They're going to renew, right? It's the same thing with content, the exact same thing. People don't see that though. They're always like, shoot, I didn't get, like, whenever I consult people, they're like, I didn't get many views on this video. How come? And I'm like, dog, I don't give a fuck. Like, focus on making the content better. Like, focus on really being yourself and making sure that your followers appreciate what you have. Because I guarantee you, if you do this and you focus on just genuinely providing value, not giving a damn about the views will come over time when you do that. And that's what happens with Mr. Beast, everybody.
And that's how do you feel lifestyle performs? So I'm actually curious because I feel like Ralph and I, we're not that flashy like on social media. And I know a lot of the times people use lifestyle, like whether it's cars or things that they have, it almost like builds credibility. But how do you think that performs? Like, do you think people should incorporate more of lifestyle, or do you think it should be more value driven?
I think you could definitely use a lifestyle content like for B-roll. It's very good to like show like an authentic part of your life, right? Now, obviously, you don't have to be flashy, okay? To be honest with you, the really wealthy people don't really flash that much. You don't need to, right? The ones that want to be rich, in my opinion, flash the most. To be honest with you, I think it's true. Like, just a lot of successful business owners I've talked to, they don't wear like the designer like all logoed out, Louis, like Gucci, you know, like. Yes, the lifestyle. Honestly, to me, at least, maybe I might not be the like most right about this, but my thinking is like if you do show too much, you actually get a lot of broke leads because those are the people that want that stuff. You know, like those kids that are like, oh, when I get my first 1,000, I'm blowing it on like a whatever designer, right? But the real wealthy people, well, they invest in this stuff that's gonna make their money work for them, right? And they never flash. They just show more of like a modest lifestyle that it looks very nice. Like you look at them and you can almost be like, oh, I know he's rich. You know, like the no logo, nothing, you can tell that guy's rich, right? So lifestyle, I think, is great for, you know, B-roll content. You can also do it for like just like voiceovers, whatever you'd like. It really, I will say though, what you show in the camera determines who you target 100%. 100%. That's why also some people that like some of the clients that aren't good at speaking on camera, I have them do B-roll content because B-roll content is more difficult to tell who that person is. But it gets you high quality leads because they don't see like really or hear your voice. They kind of just look at the lives and like, oh,
that's interesting.
Great. So is it like B-roll content with like text or something?
Like informative text?
Yeah, so like I do like B-roll content, like you can do like a clip, like even right now, right? Like this, it could be a clip. Yeah. You put some text and then you can go to the next scene and then put like another text, Another text. Or you can even just, you know, like some people will just put like a video of themselves working. They'll put like a headline and then they'll put like read the caption.
Okay, so you think that type of content is good too?
Yo, 100%. I think it works. I just think what what it comes down to is you got to be really good at storytelling. You got to really understand who your messaging is targeting.
Gotcha.
Right? Like any content can go viral. It doesn't matter the format. What matters is what is your piece of content about.
And what do you think? So I know you mentioned like the B-roll of like you working. Do you think it converts better, or you get more views or more leads when you're like talking to the camera? Or I know you said if you're not good at talking, you can do the B-roll. But if you had to compare the two, which content do you think does best?
It's so funny. Actually, I just talked to someone about this the other day. So if you want to do B-roll content, I think it's great for, it can go very viral, very viral. Like I've seen videos just B-roll, like even like the worst looking videos go the most viral, right? It can get you very high quality leads depending on who you target, right? And also I think it's just overall great content. Like sometimes people think, oh, better camera is gonna be better content. That's not true. You could have the worst message ever and it can look horrible, right? Or the worst editor. One thing though, I would say that talking head, like even like just us talking right now, has more of an advantage over the B-roll is they get to see your true personality and connect with you more on that basis. Sometimes customers won't even buy because you have a good product or service. They'll buy because they like you. They'll buy because you have the same habits as them. You're relatable to them. That's something I didn't realize till later on. Yeah. And that's why I always try to talk more, and I'm just myself. And if somebody likes me, great. We can work with them. I can work with them. But
one thing we started doing more is just posting more of our daily lives on our stories, and I feel like more people have been like relating or connecting because we'll just put like real just clips, just like, hey, this is what we're doing, blah blah. So
100%. Yeah. People would definitely relate. And I feel like you should show more of like who you are as a person. And also it builds trust and credibility. Yeah. Sometimes when people don't show themselves too much, it almost makes them, your customers question you, like, okay, like who is this guy really, right? But if you go live on Instagram, you just say, hey guys, look, I'm out here in the Caribbean. Look how nice and beautiful this is, right? People are gonna be like, dang, that looks sick, man. Like they get to really know you. Yeah. And like there's some people like even on sales calls, like I would like literally joke around with them. Like it wasn't even like a sales call. I was just joking around, like making them laugh. And they're like, bro, like let me work with you.
Because people want to work with people they like.
Yeah,
and they feel
I want to work with the client. You guys want to work with the client you like, right?
Yeah.
I don't care. Sometimes it's not even about like I was saying, like I don't care if they pay me like $20,000 a month. If they're like a dick and they're gonna treat me like shit, I'm like, fuck off. Like I know I'm a high value man. You coming to me for help. I'm not coming to you for help, right? Yeah. So like, that's kind of like what I think. Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet, Justin. So if you could leave one last piece of advice for anyone out there that's trying to go viral
or grow their brand,
what's that one piece of advice, and where can people find you?
I would say the number one piece of advice I have is start now, not later. And the reason why is no matter how hard it is, if you're unmotivated, if you don't feel like doing it, even if you had a slight thought to do it, just do it, because you never know with where your personal brand will go. And if you keep on doing it, whatever you touch in the future could become a gold mine, literally. Sometimes when you want to do the easy things now, things become hard later, right? But when you start now and you just get it over with and you just keep on pushing, things become easy later on in life. A lot of business owners, they've made millions of dollars with their ads, whatever it is. But the one thing that they will never be able to buy is a personal brand, because that is the one thing that takes time and effort. No matter how many meal plans I have, no matter how much medicine I take, I'm not going to necessarily just get a 6-pack, right? I mean, maybe nowadays, but like, right? But like the real way is like, you got to just put in the work. Like some stuff like building a business, you can't buy that necessarily. Like you got to put the work in. And even if you buy it, you're not going to have experience to continue that on your own, right? And so my number one advice, like I said again, to recap, is start now, not later. And who cares what people think about you? When I first started, people made fun of me. Did I give a fuck? No, because you gotta just do it. And you know what's so funny? After I succeeded with my personal brand, everyone that made fun of me was like, dude, congrats, man. Yes. Wow, look at that. Yeah. Right? Wow. Because they never are gonna have the balls to even start. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you gotta take a risk, right? But that's pretty much advice, yeah.
And where, if people want to work with you, because I know you worked with some really big names in the industry, like how can people start working with you? Because building a personal brand is so important. Like you said, like that's one thing they can't take from you. They can take your money, they can, all these other things, but your personal brand stays with you. Right. So it's so powerful. I feel like, especially in 2025, everyone knows, like you're hearing it. People are hearing it. Personal brand, right? But you actually build personal brands and you help people. So how can someone start working with you?
Yeah, so I have 2 Instagram accounts. One is called The Mindset Guy and the other is called The Viral Genius. The Mindset Guy is my main account. I post basically what I want on there. And in my second account, The Viral Genius, There's a link in my bio where they can apply to work with me. But that's where I show all my case studies, testimonials. I give free value on that. I really just want to make people, like, I've helped people like sometimes for free. Like, I just want to help them, and like literally makes them so much money or whatever that they end up paying me. Like, sometimes I'm literally getting on call people and I just spit game, and they're like, they're the ones that are like, dude, how much you charge? And I'm like, well, it's gonna be this much. And like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But once again, if they want to find me, the Viral Genius is where my Instagram is for all the business related topics about personal branding.